This is All India Radio, the news read by Valsa Williams. The Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh this morning held a 45-minute-long meeting with Chinese Premier Wen Jiabao. Official sources said that Dr. Singh sought larger investments from China, particularly in the national manufacturing and investment zones being set up in India. Issues like trade balance and market access for India in IT and pharmaceutical sectors also figured prominently in the talks. Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh held separate meetings with the President of the Philippines and Prime Minister of Singapore late last evening. Secretary East Sanjay Singh said the issue of terrorism and menace of piracy, apart from intensifying economic engagement with the ASEAN, were the focus of the discussions. Southeast Asian leaders have endorsed a human rights declaration which they called a breakthrough for the region. Leaders of the 10-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, adopted the joint declaration at the annual summit in Phnom Penh, saying it would enshrine human rights protections for the bloc's 600 million people. They also called for the first formal talks with Beijing over a sea dispute. Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh will join ASEAN leaders this afternoon in the India-ASEAN Summit to launch talks for a regional free trade pact. Capacity building, connectivity and furthering economic growth and peace and stability will also remain in focus in the summit. Maritime security, energy, education, disaster management and pandemics will be among issues on the agenda of the East Asia Summit to be held tomorrow. The summit will also consider adoption of a Phnom Penh declaration as well as one on regional response to malaria control and on the launch of a regional comprehensive economic partnership. The Supreme Court today issued notice to the Centre and the CBI on a plea seeking an SIT probe into the coal block allocation scam. It refused to stay the government's decision by which coal blocks were allocated to companies. Union Finance Minister P. Chidambaram has said a new system to disburse scholarships, subsidies and other financial benefits directly to the economically weaker people will start from January the 1st next year. This will do away with middlemen and ensure that benefits reach the target groups. Speaking at a function in Sivaganga, Tamil Nadu, he said the first phase of the scheme will be implemented in 51 districts across the country. Mr. Chidambaram said old age pensions, scholarships, minimum wages under Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, subsidies for ration and LPG would be paid directly to the beneficiaries. A grateful nation remembers former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi on her 95th birth anniversary today. The day is also observed as National Integration Day. President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Muhammad Hamid Ansari and Congress President Sonia Gandhi were among the leaders to pay floral tributes to the late leader at her memorial Shakti Sthal in New Delhi. A series of functions are being organized across the country to mark the occasion. The deep depression formed over west-central Bay of Bengal moved southwestwards, weakened into a depression and lay center today 750 kilometers east-northeast of Chennai. The Chennai Met Center has said that the system would move towards North Tamil Nadu and South Andhra Pradesh coasts and then weaken in 24 hours. Fishermen along north coastal Tamil Nadu have been advised to be cautious while venturing into the sea as strong winds with speed reaching 55 kilometers per hour is likely to hit. President Obama has begun a historic visit to Myanmar, the first by a sitting American president. Before his arrival, Mr. Obama said his trip was not an endorsement of the Myanmar government but an acknowledgement that there was a democratic process underway. And with that, we end this news bulletin.